Hey, hey, hey! It's Jane Gardner here, and it's the Let's Get Visible show. So let's get visible! And hey, there we go. I'm back. It's third episode, I think, of the Let's Get Visible show. So I want to say, hey, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be visible, and I'm going to be consistent with this show. It's every Thursday at 8 a.m. May not be on certain platforms right now, but hey, we're here, and we're going to talk about getting visible by doing storytelling today. This is storytelling part 2, and then on to that we'll get on to the platforms and all that kind of stuff. So let's get visible. So I should have put in my bio, but we'll not bother today because you can look that up on my anywhere about me, and let's get visible. So let's go and let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. So let's get out there. Let's get visible. Why should you be visible? We're going to do this again because we have to ask that question of you. Why should you be visible? So stop hiding behind your slides like I'm doing right now. Get out and be the face of your business. People want to get to know you. And I know we're all imperfect, but you have to be visible. Otherwise, people will think you're a robot or artificial intelligence. You need to show your face. You need to be out there if you want to get relationships with people. You need to show your personality, and you need to show people who you are. Because I'm the quiet, former shy girl. Sorry. Don't get me started on that. And yeah, that's my bio. One of my bio. And when I'm talking about being visible, it's called the former shy girl. I'm still shy, but I'm getting out there. So why don't you? So you need to show up on a regular basis, and you need to share your knowledge. So people will want to come back and see you again and again to see who you are and see your training. So get out there. Get out there. So on the Let's Get Visible show, we've got a storytelling theme that'll run through the whole show for the year. And we'll be talking about mindset and your website. We'll be talking about your voice and how you can use your voice in terms of interviews and YouTube and podcast on YouTube, podcasting, obviously, and books, how you can use audiobooks to show your personality. And then we're going to be talking about your face, how to get your face on camera. First, we'll talk about video, because we're doing that on the Let's Go Live show. We're talking about video, and you just create video even without the face and with your face, and you can have a show. No one's stopping you from having a show other than you. And how to get out there on social media and do speaking. Whether it's virtual or in person, it's time for you to get out there and get visible. So, and then because it's sort of the beginning of whatever all this is, it will talk about text and book publishing and Medium and all the other ways that you can get your messages out there through using text. And of course, we'll also talk about in-person and how you can use Zoom, which a lot of you are more familiar with now, and Meetup, and how you can do summits, and how you can do events and webinars and all those kind of things. And then we're going to talk about networking and how important it is for you to get out there, get visible, get out there into the network. And we'll interview successful show entrepreneurs. We'll interview successful entrepreneurs who've gotten out there and have networking in their program. We'll do demonstrations of different tools, techniques, and trainings on being visible. So we've got a full agenda for the show, and it should take about a year or more, hopefully. And we have a homepage. Oh, goody. It does actually show the show live So you could actually watch it there at letsgetvisibleshow.com. On the homepage, I've got an embed of the show. Then you can sign up to get notifications once we get started on that. Oh, look, we're doing two things. We're going into showing the website. So anyway, so yes, there is a lead magnet I'm going to be making called 12 Ways to Get Visible. And right now it's not set up, so we'll just leave it for now. So let's get back to the presentation and talk about storytelling. So we were talking previously about storytelling and some of the show's themes that you can do. I will have an archive on letsgetvisibleshow.com page where you can go and check out all the shows. Right now it will definitely is on YouTube in a Let's Get Visible Show playlist on my YouTube at jane-gardner. But we're going to talk about 7 timeless storytelling formats you can use. If history was taught in the form of stories, it would never be forgotten. So we've always told stories. We've always been around the fire and telling stories to each other. As soon as we started to speak and communicate, we were telling stories. So those stories from ancient times are often different from those today. They still have the same storylines. For the first human stories hatched tens of thousands of years ago to the TV drama you watched the other night, these timeless storylines endure. So why are these storylines so enduring? Well, it's because they speak to fundamental emotions that all humans understand and experience. So it's this theme all people face. Using these classic plots in your story planning can help you create something truly effective and emotional for your audience. And I think we spoke last time that, of course, you can use it in ads and marketing for your business. So there are 7 basic plots. There is Conquering the Monster. There's Rags to Riches. There's The Quest or The Journey. There's the Voyage and Return. There's Tragedy, Comedy, and a Rebirth story. So let's have a look at some sample movies and TV series, etc., who use these plots, so that you can start thinking about which one you want to use. A lot of times the Conquering the Monster is one of these stories that is used on the internet, and as well as Rags to Riches. But I think also The Quest I've seen as well, and when someone has become successful in doing something. But let's have a look at some of the stories that other people talk about. So Conquering the Monster, it's all about, if you've ever seen a horror movie or science fiction, it's the first known work of literature, the Epic of Gilgamesh from the ancient Sumerian civilization. In it, the hero Gilgamesh goes on a quest where he does battle with a number of monsters. The storyline is also the format used in many video games like Super Mario Bros. In it, the Conquering Monster story, the hero goes on a journey that culminates in the defeat of a terrible monster. The odds are stacked against the lowly hero, but through strength, cunning, and what other virtues and resources are at hand, the hero finally overcomes the monster and kills it. So even in modern storytelling, we have the monster. So you've seen this storyline in the biblical David and Goliath. It's a plot of many classics of literature, such as Beowulf. It's a basic plot behind Godzilla, the Terminator, the Star Wars trilogy, and the James Bond movies. It's also one of the main themes in superhero comic books. The key is that the monster doesn't have to be an actual monster. It can be any type of problem or frustration that your audience faces. One great example is the All-State Mayhem campaign. The character Mayhem is a metaphor for any type of disaster you could face, and you conquer this monster through insurance. Another good example is Nike's Just Do It narrative, where athletes overcome the monster, the fear of failure or lack of confidence, by just doing it. So there's a couple of samples of ads that you wouldn't have think of as conquering the monster, but if as long as they're conquering a fear, it's conquering the monster. And then the rags to riches story, of course, is a classic story of the American dream. One day you can become the billionaire on the hill. So it's a story usually of a poor immigrant that finds himself or herself washed up on the shores of America, only to pull himself up by the bootstraps through their own cunning and hard work to one day become the billionaire on the hill. So that story has used a lot in internet marketing, and you can also see this story in things like Cinderella or J.K. Rowling, or you can also see it in David Copperfield. Films like Rocky and Aladdin portray rags to riches story, and it's the story behind many of today's reality TV shows. There always is a win. Rags to riches can be used very effectively also to tell brand stories, since most companies start out as shoestring operations in someone's basement. A good example is the story of the app WhatsApp, which was developed by Ukrainian-born Jan Koum while he was on food stamps and sold 5 years later to Mark Zuckerberg for $19 billion. So those are all stories of rags to riches, and there are many in the internet marketing world. So you can certainly use that story at any time. And then there's the quest. The main character and their entourage set out on a mission, and they face obstacles and hardships. With the quest, the main character and their entourage set out to discover some place, person, or object. They face obstacles and hardships along the way, all of which they triumph over and then proceed. This is an excellent storyline because it's exciting and keeps people on the edge of their seats, especially since it has more than one obstacle or challenge for the protagonist. The audience travels along with the heroes, experiencing the discovery vicariously through them. So we all know the current popular story of, obviously, of Lord of the Rings, but the Arthurian, King Arthur's legend of Sir Galahad's quest for the Holy Grail is a classic example of the quest. More modern examples include the Indiana Jones, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Finding Nemo, and one of the most famous quest stories, The Wizard of Oz, where all Dorothy is looking for is home. J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye is the story of an inner quest to find purpose and meaning. The quest storyline can be used in your search to discover, create a product that solves the problems and hardships that your audience faces. So in a way, the quest is always a good storyline because, of course, you would be the hero who finds the solution. And so then we have the Voyage and Return, which touches a nerve with those who have traveled from home, and it becomes an emotional release. From Homer to Luke Skywalker, human cultures abound with stories about a hero's journey into a strange or dangerous land and his final return home. This is a story anyone who has ever ventured away from home geographically or outside their comfort zone psychologically can easily understand. It touches a real nerve with people, and the eventual homecoming offers an emotional release. These stories are particularly popular with children, mainly because the whole world to them is a strange and wonderful place full of obstacles. Well, a number of classics fit this mold, like Homer's Odyssey and Alice in Wonderland. Quite a number of fantasy and science fiction stories use this storyline. Modern Voyage and Return stories include Back to the Future and the miniseries Lost. Voyage and Return can be used in a variety of different contexts. For example, you have made a discovery while traveling that inspired you to come home and develop a product. Product development can be a voyage and return story if it involves venturing outside of your comfort zone. This story can also be used to sell travel-related products. Well, that's pretty obvious, actually, that you would use it for travel-related. Using it for your voyage or your case study on getting a product done and its solution would be one way you could do that. Now, tragedy is toughest to use in my marketing because it's based on a fatal flaw of your character or weakness, and death is a happy ending. Well, I don't know about that, but so the reason they're based on some fatal character flaw, weakness, or lapse in morals on the part of the main character, which gradually destroys them. Tragedies like Shakespeare's Macbeth features an anti-hero who is haunted and tormented by their fatal flaw throughout the story, and they nearly always succumb in the end. For a tragedy, death is a happy ending. Not exactly marketing material, but it is a story, and people enjoy these stories. So examples of tragedies include Bonnie and Clyde, where they die in the end, John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men, where he dies in the end, West Side Story, of course, where they both die in the end, just like Romeo and Juliet, and Titanic. In the end, they do have death, which separates them. And you get an emotion from that, but I'm not sure how good that would be for marketing. Now, comedy, that's not every funny story is a comedy. Sometimes you can have confusion and eventual resolution. The term comedy is meant here in the Shakespearean sense, where the plot revolves around some confusion among the characters, which leads to a wide range of shenanigans and eventually resolves in the end when it's cleared up and the characters are set straight. You can think of something like Midsummer's Night Dream, for example. Most sitcoms use this storyline in their episode. This is because one mix-up offers an interesting plot and many opportunities for humor. Just take a look at some of your favorite comedies in either movies or TV series, for example. Businesses can use the comedy format to reframe a problem into some type of comedic confusion. A business, for example, may have an IT mix-up which it has to untangle. In addition to following the storyline, you can add comedic elements to any kind of story to make it more fun for the audience. Humor is a great emotion to trigger, and it makes your story more memorable. So take the story of Mr. W, which won energy company Eperon numerous awards for promoting wind energy. They took the abstract concept of wind, created a misunderstood person, and then revealed the truth of who he was right at the end. Not only did the story have a comedic element, but also an example of someone overcoming their own challenges and being reborn, even though it wasn't a real person. So I will probably give the links to these various ads, see if they're still existing, and so that you can enjoy them. Rebirth can be used very effectively. You can sink to their lowest and then make a miraculous recovery. Frankly, the Rebirth story is one that can be used very effectively, and the struggle of the main character offers a conflict to the story, and the protagonist overcoming the struggle and rising from the ashes is inspirational for the audience. So this would be very relatable in certainly health products and health challenges and that kind of thing, if you want to look at something that's the simplest in terms of ads. So in A Christmas Carol, Scrooge threatens to stop Christmas, but the holiday is saved. There's an element of rebirth in nearly every episode of Doctor Who or a James Bond movie where the hero is about to be killed by the villain but narrowly escapes. Beauty and the Beast and Sleeping Beauty are both rebirth stories. There are a great number of rebirth story ideas in a business context. Your product could save people right at the moment when they're very bottom. The plot could also be worked into a customer's testimonial. Your brand story could be about your business facing hardship and near bankruptcy until a great idea saves the day. Any personal story about overcoming a hardship or dark time is a rebirth story. So this is the rebirth story you may not know right now, but the rebirth story you'll tell doesn't even have to be about your company, but can focus just on your own customers. A great example is Gatorade's Replay series, which tells the story of two ice hockey teams who took to the ice 11 years after a game which had involved a fatal accident for one player. The story isn't about Gatorade at all. Instead, Gatorade sponsors the game, and you only see their product very peripherally in the footage. And stories where they talk, where a food chain talks about their employees and how they're getting their own, getting their own education, etc., through the sponsorship of that fast food company, are stories like that, where basically the company is helping their employees. So one story can have many storylines. You don't have to restrict yourself. If you've noticed, an individual story can have a number of these storylines within it. A hero may go on a journey to conquer a monster, only to face a serious and near-fatal struggle from which he or she experiences a rebirth and then returns home at the end. You don't have to restrict yourself to only one storyline. Most great stories combine elements of a few. So, which format would resonate most with your brand? And jot down some ideas as to which one you would think that you would like to try in your business. You could, of course, have the story of how you started the business and its success, or even creating a product and its results. These are very many of the stories that are out there that are very successful in marketing. So we're looking at marketing and how it can you can do stories in your marketing, but we're also looking at it in terms of visibility, because it makes it much easier if you're doing things like writing stories or doing videos, if you can create a storyline within that and have a script, etc., and have a focus such that it will continue on. So this would be like, well, I don't know what this one would be called. So this would be a video that I would be doing training on storytelling, and it has a storyline because I talk about all the different types of stories, which then you think about and decide which one would resonate with you. So, I don't know, it's sort of like a story. So, on the Let's Get Visible show, we'll be regularly scheduled every Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific or 11 a.m. Eastern. Because I value visibility, authenticity, and most importantly, consistency, get on the email notification list at http://jgtips.com/lets, and I will be starting to give out freebies and checklists. I have the 12 ways to get visible checklist that you can use and get ideas from, as well as getting notifications and offers to help you grow your business by becoming visible. As well, I am doing the Let's Go Live show on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Pacific or 11 a.m. Eastern, and you can get on the notification list at https://jane-gardner.com/live to get notifications and checklists and offers. So, Let's Get Visible show will always have questions and there will always be offers. I just have to get them put together. So there you go. You can go to the Let's Get Visible show. As you can see, it's live. The homepage has the show live there at any time if you don't wish to get on the list. But if you want to get on the list, you can get the 12 ways to get visible on the internet and just add your name and email. We'll be talking about why to get visible, where to get visible, and what are the tools available to get visible, and having some training on that. So looks like we're about run out of time. So we're going to go and get off to my work in our structural engineering firm, and I'll see you later. Next time, get some mindset and ask yourself why you aren't getting visible. In the meantime, figure out maybe some storylines for yourself. I haven't put together the Facebook page or group yet for Let's Get Visible, but you can certainly think about what's